And also storm surge. That's going to be very important for you folks along Lake Pontchartrain. Let's get back to the graphics to show you're expecting that storm surge. There you go, highlighted in the white. Over 10 feet of water. Some folks even seeing about 16 feet of water. And you see with that graphic there, the storm surge, 12 feet is over the roof of a lot of homes. So indeed, this is a dangerous situation. That's why we have that storm surge warning in effect off to the south of Baton Rouge. New Orleans, you're under that. And notice that storm surge warning extends all the way into Pascagoula, Gulfport, Biloxi, Mobile, and the Gulf Shores. You can see a storm surge as high as around 6 feet. So once again, those weather alerts, thankfully we have no tornado warnings, even though earlier we had tornado warnings around the Mobile area. And really these storm systems we have a lot of spin in the atmosphere. They can produce those isolated tornadoes. So that's why we have that tornado watch in effect from about the New Orleans area along Interstate 10 all the way into Mobile and Pensacola. Once again, conditions are favorable for the development of tornadoes. So once again, Kelly, this storm system moving onshore, has moved onshore within the last 2 hours. And indeed, that heavy band of precipitation, the most dangerous part of the storm system, is now moving toward the folks in New Orleans during the next hour or so. So once again, hunker down and get ready for some wind speeds over 100 miles per hour. In Baton Rouge, you're right behind that later this afternoon and evening. Over to you, Kelly.
Hey, Kevin, let me keep you just for a moment. You were talking about the storm surge, if we could show a map of that again, because you were just talking about how it's now barreling towards, Hurricane Ida is barreling towards New Orleans. And of course, there's quite a bit of concern about the levees, as we saw what happened 16 years ago with Hurricane Katrina, and how the levees were not able to hold any strength against the winds and the water from Lake Pontchartrain, the Mississippi River, all from the winds forcing that storm surge from Hurricane Katrina, which went on to cause some 1,800 deaths. As we look at Hurricane Ida coming in, just as strong, following the same track, they're saying that the levees will be able to hold up. But you just talked about a storm surge that could reach 12 feet or higher. Are you fearful or are you concerned about any overtopping?
Well, whenever you have these winds, Kelly, blowing over, like gusting up to 130, you're going to have that wind blowing in from the east and also from the northeast. When you have a couple of hours of that wind just bumbling all that water toward the levee system, eventually they're going to go over the levee system because you have the periods of water, the volume of water. So you're going to find it in some places, even though we have rebuilt the levee system, cost of over $1 billion, they rebuilt the levee system in New Orleans. And by the way, we have 99 drainage pumps in the Crescent City. I think all of them are working, exception of 2. There are 2 that are out in Lakeview and New Orleans East. So you folks in those zones, be aware something can happen. And I'm going to show you this graphic, this other one too about the storm surge, what we could see with that. And I'm going to show you the normal level, 6 feet, 12 feet plus. So you're talking about water level about right here, and that's almost to the roof of some homes. I mean, a lot of roofs of homes. So some folks will see levees breached, even though they have rebuilt them, I hate to say this, in New Orleans. And you folks like go down toward the Grand Isle, there's no protection down there, and that's where the storm system made landfall. And I hate to say, we're probably going to be seeing a lot of reports of just catastrophic damage down toward Grand Isle. So once again, and then there's some folks that are hunkering down in Grand Isle that are actually now stranded because they can't get out. And there's only one highway, Kelly, that goes down to Grand Isle. That's LA1. It's a toll road. And that road probably is completely underwater right now.
Yeah, Kevin, this is very dangerous. It's a very deadly storm. And for many people, like in Grand Isle and New Orleans, they are not able to see us right now to get any information because they've had power outages.
Yes.
EMS, I understand, in New Orleans has shut down because of the strong winds. And would you liken these winds to a tornado of like F2, F3 proportions when those winds are packing speeds of 110 miles per hour going through Grand Isle, making its way eventually to New Orleans and then throughout the southeastern part of the state, and as you pointed out, parts of Alabama and Mississippi. What will that be like? And for people who can watch us and hear us, what's your advice to them? Because keep in mind that in New Orleans, they were given voluntary evacuation, but not a mandatory evacuation because, as the mayor said, it was just too late to get people to move out of harm's way.
Yeah, well, Kelly, let me tell you, I've grown up in Tornado Alley back in Texas, and where we have EF4s and EF5s. We're talking about tornadoes with wind speeds over 150 miles per hour. This eye wall, around this eye wall, the sustained winds are at 150 with gusts of 185 to 190 miles per hour. That would completely destroy a home off the foundation. So this is dangerous, folks. Even wind speeds up to 120 to 130, that would cause significant damage. That would be up in the Crescent City in New Orleans. And this band right here, Kelly, this is the one that's holding that wind speeds of 130 to 150 miles per hour. That's about 15 miles now to the south and southwest of New Orleans. And it's moving up toward you folks. Actually, I'm going to track it back again. And you see that band? Now it's about 20 miles. It's moving up. Once again, we're tracking it, 2:55 local time, moving toward New Orleans. This is where those wind speeds are going to be over 100 miles per hour. So, folks, if you have not sheltered in place in the Crescent City, be prepared for, we're talking about EF3, EF4, EF5, wind speeds of a tornado. And we've seen the report, a lot of the reports of tornadoes back in the plains. Remember Oklahoma City, Norman, Oklahoma, homes completely destroyed. This is what's going to be doing this as it moves in. So, folks, just hunker down, Kelly. We'll be here to keep you updated 24/7. Stay safe.
Kevin, very important information that you've given us, and we'll be praying for the people there in the Crescent City and all throughout the area as Hurricane Ida continues to make landfall.